Welcome to Kill Team Casuals, a podcast all about Kill Team filmed in 3 different time zones by 3 different gents. Today, we are joined by one half of the Just Another Kill Team podcast, top kill teamer, tournament organizer, narrative lover, and all-around lovely dude, Travis. Enjoy.
My mic was off, but yours is now open, and we're here. It's the Kill Team Casuals. But something, if you're listening, if you listen closely, sounds different. The ever big presence on the show, Bam Bam Ben, is away.
The landslide.
So we had to put out the feelers this week to make sure that we got someone in to fill those sturdy shoes of Ben. So we've brought in Travis. Welcome, Travis, of course, from Not Another Kill Team podcast fame, of among many things he does, team member of the Brooklyn Rats.
Hello.
All around narrative genius, mate. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, nice to see everyone. Hopefully everyone on Twitch is happy to have another East Coast guest.
We've had to keep the 3 time zones.
We have to keep the time zones.
Exactly.
It's a very specific thing we've got going on. We talked about off air. It's all we've got. So we have to make sure that that's our thing. We're slightly casual and that we have 3 time zones. It's a simple system. Thanks for joining us, mate. How have you found... Start simply. How have you found this new end of the season to the latest Kill Team? Have you enjoyed all the things that have dropped to finish it off?
This has been a busy couple of weeks, to say the least, on Kill Team content. We've had emergency errata to nerf the Votan gun for some reason, which was clearly not written to have the nerf on it. So, like, if you read the original rules, at least it should have hit the original target, but somehow after doing all of the cover line rules, they've removed the original target from the beam. And then we have everyone being afraid of Felgor, and then seeing the Colts release, and now everyone's like, oh no, Colts are the new melee team. Yeah, it's just a melee summer is what it feels like it's going to be.
It feels like I was Panic's surprised. The thing, isn't it? Panic is our favorite thing for new teams. It's not comes out, everybody just panics.
Yeah. I mean, for what it's worth, this weekend's Kansas City Open with 48 players, first place went to Chaos Cults. They went 5-0. And then second place was Phobos. Yeah. So at KC, they were allowed to run all of the teams. So I think they had a couple Felgor, no Votan, because unfortunately Votan are both very hard and not super, super good. Like they look okay, but you have to do everything right, because you have no movement whatsoever.
That seems to be the hardest thing to get past, the 2-inch movement, apart from the jetpack guy who's got all the movement, like 12 inches.
Yeah, he can either go 6 or 12. Yeah,
he has the team's movement. He's like the lugger has all the weapons. He's got all the movement, that guy.
He has all the movement. Like, they have lots of good ploys and lots of good stats, but 7 wounds is a really rough break point for literally almost anything getting through. And then hitting on 4s? Hitting on 4s. I know they got ploys. They have hitting on 4s, but if you get within 6, they can hit on 3s. If they grudge an objective, they can get the free normal to a crit. And they have some of the best guns. They've got the plasma beamer, 4.6 AP2, does a beam, which is everyone on a cover line takes D3 mortals for every crit. So if you somehow get lucky, maybe you have a couple grudges stacked up, you could do like 3 D3 mortals on a line.
Ooh.
I mean, it was interesting.
That does sound pretty nice.
I found them being pretty interesting as a good counter to like the Beastmen, the Felgor. They were a good counter in the box set because they had so many ways to retain crits, and it seemed like their box set balance was pretty good. But obviously the fear for a lot of other teams out there was that obviously they weren't going to have those bonus crits to put down the frenzied monsters in an easy way.
Yeah.
But I said that movement, that's a movement and 7 wounds. Oof.
The more questionable thing is, like, how did they ever not get charged first? Because, like, no matter what you do, the Beastmen always have 2 inches on you. It's a lot if you're playing very, very competitive Kill Team. Because I've had a lot of games come down to like, we cut down to like a tiny sliver. I'm like, if it's out, it's out. Yeah. So Votan, I don't think anyone is really sporting them. I think the 2 Votan players we had in my local tournament this weekend, I don't think did that well. I didn't exactly look. We had Felgor and Commandos take our 3-0 slots. out of my tournament this weekend.
Okay.
I'd love to see Commando still doing well.
Yeah.
The 11th activation definitely helped a lot. And also the extra CP up front now means that you can sneaky get on open 3 times and then still have just a scratch. So like the buffs have helped them a lot because it freed them up to do stuff, which is nice.
I still love that them and the Vet Guard, like the OG teams, can still be there. They can still duke it out with the top dogs.
Vet Guard are still absolutely a menace.
Yeah. Well, we heard a little sneaky report from Ben that there was a Wormblade team as well. I was obviously being a GSC player originally. I was happy that there was a Wormblade and doing well by the sounds of it too, from what I heard.
Yeah, so Kansas's top 3 was undefeated Colts, undefeated Phobos, and then 4-1 Wormblade. And I think there was I think yesterday when I was looking, there was Hand of the Archon was also up there before it swapped into Wormblade being third place.
Okay, yeah. There you go. So good to see that Hand of the Archon, because again, another team, I think people were, it's because the releases have happened so quickly too. I feel like a lot of teams haven't had their chance in the sun. It's like,
we went from like April release to like, we're putting out another 4 teams right afterwards. It's
That's the pace just picked up.
Yeah.
So fat. I mean, I do feel bad for Gallowfall because it came out and then immediately before it even launched, we were talking about the next set of teams. And we didn't know at that time that they're like, after we got the rules for Gallowfall, we knew the Beastmen were like this huge melee threat, that this even potentially greater melee threat was just creeping around the corner. Tentacles around the door, ready to come jumping.
We weren't ready.
Melee summer in full effect. And if all the rumors are to be believed, if it's going to be striking scorpions and Catachan or some other human melee faction, like it's going to be like melee teams all the way through.
Well,
there's been so many rumors now. I can't keep them all straight in my head.
Everyone's like, it's going to be Eldar versus something. I'm like, where are the Tyranids? Yeah. I just want to see like a Lictor with like 4 Von Ryan sleepers as like the NID team. That'd be cool. That'd be sick.
That'd be cool. And we do have the models now.
Russ and I were talking about that just previously. We were saying obviously so much hype around 10th edition, and that's not for everyone. We're a Kill Team podcast here. That's what we're here to talk about. But it is always interesting. Usually there is a bit of synergy between those releases and then what's happening in the next box set. So I'm still quietly hoping that means in the next box set, the one half would be either a new Tyranid release or a update of something. I'm still really hoping maybe Gene Stealers. I don't know. I just think that maybe there's got to be some synergy there. Elder versus Tyranids could be, was it the what are they called? The Maiden Worlds that they have, and then that the Tyranids have been on Gallowfall, and the narrative's
the
there.
Craft Worlds.
Yeah. So
that'd be super cool. I want to see some NIDs.
Yeah. I think it's overdue. Definitely. It's overdue. AO Adrian, who's in the chat's actually just given us some little, a few more of the rankings as well from the KCO. You were right. The Archons came in 4. Felgor's in at 5. Another Chaos Cultist. Oh, and this answers my question. I was going to ask, have you heard if there was any Inquisition teams? And looks like one came in at 7th. So that they can do some work, because I thought that was the other team that's got to be quiet on because of how.
I think they look quite good, but they are balanced by just not great ballistic skill and not a lot of rerolls. So even though you can be really obnoxious and like stop people from doing things, like when you go to do any aggressive action, you're just like, I don't know, like good luck.
There's swinginess involved with all their shooting.
I must admit, I'm not a fan of that. What is it? Ultimate dominance is not that. It's the one where they're like, you can't
absolute
do that.
Authority, counterspell.
Absolute authority. You know what? Yeah, it is just a dispel.
It's just counterspell. It's just counterspell.
I'm not a fan, because I thought it was, when I first read it, I was chatting with someone and they said, I think it's just once a battle. And I was like, I don't think so. I think it just, 4 times a game, you can be like, no.
You're going to do it. You're 100% going to do it 4 times a game.
Yes.
It's just like Commander's old Justice Scratch. You just know you're going to do it.
Yes. It just feels so mean. I mean, I know technically Justice Scratch is quite mean, but it's also mean. Yeah, but like just being like, no, that's not happening, just feels so mean.
I think there's like some interesting player adaptation that might happen because of it. Because it's like, you know, if you look at certain teams, it's like I'm always doing these like 4 ploys. So now those 4 CP have to go to something else, right? Like for Legionary, I think Veterans of the Long War, people might not have used all that much because they're just not looking at it. So it's like, oh, you can use this more often. Or for, you know, you do the transhuman physiology for Space Marines so that you're actually blocking some percentage of the crits. Because there's like ploys that people have never looked at is probably how some people have played.
It's not a
That's
bad
probably a
thing
very
if
healthy way of looking at it.
It's not a bad way to get people
out
of bad habits.
Yeah.
You know, doing the same, especially probably in the competitive scene too, where most people are coming in doing the same trick. I do love hearing when you go, someone's come in and they've just done something that they're using this ploy that everyone was overlooking or ignoring. A bit like with the Custodes in ITD, what they did a little while ago and stuff like that. You know, that where'd that come from kind of thinking. I love that stuff.
Yeah, I think at the first Kill Team Open tournament, I was doing a lot of jump tests and people were like, "What? Why are you jumping?" I'm like, "I'm just trying to score points." Because I was just like getting railguns in position. Yeah, it's actually on like stream. I have like a Pathfinder with a railgun trying to make a jump on turn 2 and miss. So he's just stuck there. But if I had hit it, I would have just deleted a model and then been able to score advantage. But I had to wait, and I ended up not being able to score it.
Oh, rough.
Yeah.
So we had the KCO. Obviously, you've got huge involvement with the New York Open. What got you into wanting to help out and be part of organising tournaments and stuff like that? How'd you get into it?
You know, honestly, after going to the first Kill Team Open, I really wanted to let other people do competition, like have a local scene. I had done like 1 or 2 tournaments locally. And then after doing well at Kill Team Open, the local shop owner was like, yeah, you can do whatever you want. So it's like, all right, we'll set up tournaments. You know, we started running. I think we had like 12 people in March of last year. And then this year's team tournament in May, we had 32 people show up. So that was really crazy.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, I like had not written like in my head. I hadn't put in 32 people. I put in 28. So I'd set up 7 tables and then everyone showed up and I was like, oh no, I have to like panic and go build another table.
Just quickly run over to the store owner. Like, hi, I'm going to need to buy some more box sets.
Yeah, there's like a big panic. Thank goodness my local shop, the Brooklyn Strategist, has like lots and lots of terrain set up. So that's where the majority of Kill Team gets played. I think in kind of New York right now. And then after we did the local scene for a little bit, we decided to try to run a bigger tournament. So that's where we did the New York Open last year in November. We were able to get my teammates' wedding venue. So we got pretty lucky. This year we're doing
same day, I'm assuming.
We're like, oh yeah, basically. It was basically like, you know, there was just a free day that no one had a wedding for, and we just piled in. We got pretty lucky. That was like a month and a half turnaround. So this year we're doing.
The venue was amazing. Yeah,
the venue was really nice. This year our venue is going to be a little bit tighter, but we are inside like the densest part of Manhattan. So it'll be like in New York. Last year we were in Brooklyn, so it's a little bit chiller. This year we're going to be like at the nexus of like every single subway line, basically at Union Square. So if anyone comes,
it should be easy to get there. Yeah,
it'll be dead easy. You know, you could stay anywhere in New York, and one of the train lines will get you to us. So so that'll be at Union Square this year at a brand new shop, basically Hex & Co.
Oh, nice.
Union. So that's what we're doing this year's New York Open too.
Seems to be the scene you've got going on there is really going good. Like there seems to be, you've got a large team in the Brooklyn Rats as well, but it seems like there's a lot of expansion around with lots of people being really, really into Kill Team in that area.
Yeah, the Northeast is actually surprisingly busy. We've got probably one of the other big scenes down in DC, you know, with the Plasma Spam and the Nova group, obviously. And then if we go north, we have Toronto. Shane from Command Point is up near Rochester. So we have lots and lots of strong kill teaming in the area, which is nice. And obviously I think the game has been like producing new models. Everybody seems to enjoy it. Yeah. So it's been nice. And all the teams are fun. And obviously having a strong regular schedule has really helped us grow our scene a lot. Just knowing anyone who knows, like it's the first Saturday of any given month, you can drop by the shop and play, 3 rounds of Kill Team. And then the 2 sweatiest players sometimes play a 4th round. so that they know
tournament
who's
prep.
actually first.
Sweater's got to sweat. All right, sweater's got to sweat. And there's a sequel coming later this year. You're working on the narrative side of things. Is there any insights, sneak peeks, things you can let us know, or is it all a bit of a surprise, or you've got no idea?
I think we're going to do our narrative announcements in July of this year. So we're working on some stuff behind the scenes, and we're hoping that we can get a much cooler announcement. But, no matter what, it'll be a fun, unique narrative that's built around some cool terrain that's not just the normal kill team boards and terrain. It's not going to be just in the dark. Last year we did boss battles at the end, and we'll probably have, maybe some NPCs. Who knows?
It was amazing. Like looking at the stuff you did for last year, you had some like bespoke items, and it just really reminded me like D&D stuff. And it was such a cool blend to see you kind of mixing, I guess, the elements of D&D that you could get in there, which were these fantastic items that had so much flavor, and putting them in as like kill team equipment. You can just buy them as equipment points, so you get them as part of rewards. It's such a cool idea to bring like that kind of D&D element to get to kill team. I just thought was so. It sounded so cool. I was very jealous.
One of the fun things was like writing the rules was really fun. So it's like, what is something that people really like from the lore? It's like, vortex grenades. Why wouldn't I want a vortex grenade?
Yeah.
So then, I write the rules for it. I'm like, you do, D3 mortals when you hit, and then it's just like one of the Horus Heresy, small blast templates. Cause it's just fun. We all remember old blast templates. And then it just sits there on the board. Cool. And you just scatter because we want scatter dice, right? Like
scatter as well. Oh, you're just singing.
Yeah, we had I think we had some flamer. So like we had like one use phosphor weapons because I guess phosphor and Horus Heresy is like ultra napalm. So So when you light it up, it's like everyone on the flame template gets hit, and then if you roll a 1, you can't re-roll it. So it's like super hot. So it's just you roll a 1 on the hit, you're just taking D3 damage. Like I'm sorry. It was like very in flavor, right? Like if you get this one item, you're never going to get to use it in a normal game. So if your dude lights up 4 dudes and blows himself up, I'm like, well, that's a story. That's fun.
It's amazing. It's that story element of it. It's very cool.
We had like a demon blade that someone could get where like every kill increased the crit, but you couldn't re-roll hits on it. So if you roll a 1, it's just going to deal 3 damage to you. It just like eats the person.
I remember that. It just eats the person.
I remember that's the one I remember the most. I was just like, that sounds so fun. It sounds so amazing. Just like you just get swallowed by the own sword, but you keep dealing damage.
Yeah,
anything
I think one
that
of the
brings chaos and randomness to a battle is gold. Anything that makes it feel out of control. That's what we want. We want chaos.
Yeah, we used a lot of scatter dice, a lot of like no re-rolling ones, and then we had a custom trench board that someone in our community had. One of the guys in our group also had the old, like all 3 versions of Space Hulk. So I rewrote Space Hulk kill team rules so that you could play with like blips, and then you would like see the blips and gene stealers would pop up and they would like run at you. And so that was like the first round of the first day was you are battling with your friend in kind of like co-op through the tunnels. And then there was like a tower of in the dark terrain sitting there on the map, and then so they would do the teamwork on the Space Hulk, and then we split them up into the boards. Like this board is here, and then they all laid out, and then each of the boards had like a subsystem on the ship. So it's like someone was like lining up a shot for a turn, and then someone on another board like hit the buttons to close the doors and just slammed the door on his Death Reaper. So he just his Death Jester. So he just like had a shot lined up, and he's like, all right, I guess we're done. So a lot of wacky stuff. I think lights turned off. So yeah, it was fun. It was fun to write, and it was fun to watch. Everyone like, is this what you want to have in draft? I'm like, I wrote the rules. It's just for you guys to go play and have fun. Like,
you're doing it right when people question you. Like, are you sure? This is what you want to happen. You're nailing it. You're absolutely nailing it.
I mean, I think that's absolutely what it should be, because you've got the other element of that already covered. I know in obviously the New York Opens you have a full tournament going anyway, and I think you said there, so it's like if you can go and you can play the game as is, play it like that, or you can experience this brand new thing that you're probably not going to experience anywhere else in the game, and that's just a lovely little bet. I love events that have a little narrative event going on. I've yet to go to one, But I need to go to
this year.
a narrative event. I should try. I'm sure it wouldn't take Emma that much to convince her to be like, let's go to New York.
You heard it.
Yeah.
Here
Sounds like it'd be
first.
easy to get to.
The Brooklyn Rats are flying the Kill Team casuals out actually for the New York Open. All three of us, Ben's ticket's going to be cheaper than mine and Russ's, but they're flying us out. It's a fantastic initiative. Ben's going to do Knots for Nerds. He's probably going to do some balloon animals in the corner. Russ knows some songs.
He can help.
We'll put you guys to work. I'll have you guys doing the narrative voices.
Emergency terrain construction in the background. Oh no!
I'll bring a spoon to pry apart lots of Into the Dark.
Yes.
So that's happening in November this year. You said, wasn't it?
Yes, November 4th, 5th. We have tickets up on ny-open.com for anyone who is curious. Our tickets just went up today. They are a little bit expensive because New York is expensive, unfortunately. One of the most expensive cities on the planet. So unfortunately, tickets are proportionally expensive. But it'll be a great time. We're going to have some cool stuff lined up. We're going to have tons of prizes to give out to people, raffles and otherwise. We have more sponsors this year. One of the fun things about running, these independent tournaments is you can go reach out to independent groups and try to, help them grow their brand and grow your tournaments, which was surprisingly easy. So
got a network.
Tell us a little bit about Not Another Kill Team podcast. What are you guys covering on there? If people, obviously, once they're finished listening here, we'll then encourage them to head over to you. Tell us a little bit. And then come back as well.
We just had our New York Open episode today on Just Another Kill Team podcast. So it was a little tongue in cheek because we were like, how are we going to do our Kill Team name? And we're just another. There's so many of us. But we've shifted since we started to kind of interviewing local community organizers, because I think that's a underutilized part of our space. Because compared to Valorant or any Valorant, Dota, League, or even Magic the Gathering, the local community is such a big part of our hobby, right? Getting help on hobbying, getting help on painting, or just getting people to come and play more than one game a week with their one other friend, right? And that's such a fun part. So as we've been interviewing other people from the communities, it's been nice just to meet other people that are also as into the hobby as us. I think this week we had some Brooklyn Rats show up so that we could do our New York Open stuff. But last week I think was probably one of our better episodes with Matt from Pittsburgh. And I helped him out months ago when he was looking for a little bit of help starting a Pittsburgh kill team scene. I sent him the New York packet and he used it, restructured it for Fabricators Forge. And now they're up to I think 16 people during tournament days, which is nice. Good. Yeah. Anything past 8 people is great, because we interviewed Sheldon from the Bay Area Open 2 weeks ago. And he was talking about how his first tournament had 8 people and his next tournament had 0 people. One person.
Oh, wow.
That'll do it. That'll do it.
Yeah. So it's, for anyone who is interested in running those tournaments, it's not always going to be sunshines and daisies, sometimes no one shows up.
People can be flaky. That's for sure.
I think the local scene in Manchester had a few early days where they had, minimal turnout, which I'm semi-devastated by, because I could have got an easy top 5 finish by the sounds of things, but missed out on that one. You know what I mean? But no, they get a real good regular turnout now. But it took some doing by the sounds of things from the tournament organizers to get that regular. And like you were saying before, having that set day in your local shop, Brooklyn Strategist, being come down, you can get a couple of games in here regularly and meet other people and presumably talk about the local tournaments and build a bit of hype in the community. It's such a good thing, and obviously it's doing wonders for you, getting so much attendance to these local tournaments and the New York Opens that you're going to do more kind of semi-regularly now. It seems like maybe a new staple.
Whoa. That would be cool. That's the goal. We'll see how this year goes. And then if everything goes the way we hope, hopefully we can spread out a little bit, because I think it would be really cool if New York could have its own, at-home wargaming tournament. Because right now, if you want to do a wargaming tournament in New York, it's you go upstate, or you go to Jersey, or you go to Long Island, just because New York is hard because it's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Yeah, so we like, on our local scene, we've had as low as like 10 people show up for a tournament, but it's fine. People got busy lives, you do the best you can.
Yeah.
Having a regular day of the week for people to show up and play, casual games. I think that's what we're starting up. So actually for where we're running the New York Open, I'm actually doing like coaching, or not coaching days, but like that's the day that I'm trying to sit out with all the Kill Team stuff and be like, anybody want to play this fancy new game? I think we're also a little bit worried on whether or not 10th is going to like bleed a lot of players.
Yeah, there'll be a dip. There'll be a dip for sure, just because of enthusiasm.
It'll dip, but then I think it'll. I don't know. I worry. I'm not worried. I think it'll dip and then come back again as people get into 40k and then remember they don't have 4 hours per game, because I still think it's probably going to take a while to get through a game. But I need to do that more. I'm
looking forward to dumping off some. The rest of my team wants to play a little bit of 10th edition, so I pulled my old Tau out of storage. I'm like painting some Farsight models. I'm gonna have all 3 generations of crisis suits floating around, like the old chunky ones, and then obviously the new Farsight model looks great. So
very cool.
It's very cool. Yeah. The demon sword and all that jazz going on with it.
An explicit demon sword. The question's finally been answered.
Yeah. They're not mucking around anymore. Everyone knew, right? No one was questioning it anyway.
The taint of chaos.
Back in my day, it was a Necron sword, but was it Pariahs back in the day? Well, it looked like it looked way more. Yeah. It looked way more like a Necron sword.
Yeah,
it looked like a demon sword.
Looked like one of the phase blades or whatever.
Yeah, it looked exactly like a Necron blade, and they're like, "Oh, it like sucks the souls out of things." We're like, what? It's a little weird. That's not very Necron-y, but yeah. But now he's summoning bloodletters on moons, so
it's happening. We're gonna get chaos Tau.
He's changed
within months.
He's changed.
That's the next kill team. You heard it here first.
Chaos Tau.
Chaos Kroot.
Oh,
and now we're moving into Kroot, because I know Travis, you're a Kroot fan. You got some amazing Kroot.
I do love my Kroot.
You have Chaos Kroot.
One of my games was against Felgor recently, and I just barely eked out a win.
Nice. Were you on open?
That was on In the Dark, and it was I think for what it's worth, my opponent did choose to open a door on turn 1 against the gun that was just sitting there. The Skinner was just getting ready to remove someone, so maybe that door shouldn't have been opened. He was readying up for a good turn 2 open, but because I won the die roll on turn 2 because I gave him turn 1, I ended up so one of the
I always try to do that.
For any listeners who don't know, on In the Dark, if you win attacker, give your opponent first turn if you think that turn 2 is going to go well, because then you get a chance to go first, because you get a 16% higher chance of going first, as it were.
I'm sure I had this conversation with Rhys and Ben, and they were like, "You absolute cheese chaser," and I'm like, "No. Always give it."
Travis
so then
has said it.
Slight percentage increase is like, yes, exactly.
Yep. Against Felgor as Kroot on In the Dark, I'll take any advantage.
Definitely, you need that. You need that help.
A lot of our chats are resolving around Russ just chasing cheese and trying to crunch numbers with us. And unfortunately, we're no help to him. You've got a bit of experience, though, in that competitive scene. Where are the Kroot in that scene at the moment? Do they get to go to the competitive games, or are they friendly only?
No, they're definitely too good for just compendium. They're like... They were where Phobos were, where they were like really good on open, not that good on In the Dark, but then Phobos got free mission actions. So now Phobos are like really good on open and just like they're playable, but not bad on In the Dark compared to some other teams. Because 4 APL is just a lot of APL on a model.
That's kind of
we banned Custodes. We banned Custodes on 4
Custodes
APL.
Can't have it. Yeah.
So it's just Phobos. And they have lots and lots of a lot of their models are great. It's just that, you are very squishy. You're not like amazing in melee. You're pretty good in melee now, because now the dogs can actually reliably kill things. When they were stuck at 4 attacks, it was just like, I can charge a 7 wound model with a dog and not kill it, which is just kind of like unacceptable when you're taking dogs to like go do a thing. But they're really hard to play in the sense that like, your rule says that you get 2 retains, but on open, all the best guns are AP2, so it doesn't matter if you're retaining dice. You're just dying.
Things be killing.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think they're pretty good. They're not like an A+ tier team. They're like, a B+ or A- team, but they're really fun and they have lots of fun toys. And they have, bound is probably one of the more fun rules on open. For anyone who doesn't know, it's you ignore your traversal fee, your first drop fee, and your first climb fee, so you can just like fly. And dogs have 8 inches of move, so when they charge, they're 10 inches, ignoring the first traversal, first climb, first drop. So you can just like whoosh, teleport all over the board.
That's pretty powerful, 100%.
The dogs are really cool because they've got that. They kind of, it's going to sound odd. They do feel like dogs, and then I'm going to clarify that statement because they are really fast. But also, if like you attack someone near them, for the recon as well. Boom. But if someone attacks someone near them, they can also interrupt and be like, "You're attacking me instead." Yeah. And it's weird because it's a cool rule. Like they play really thematically as you imagine a crew hound would maybe.
Yeah, honestly, their rules are great. One of the big gotchas for the dogs is if you want to use a bad temper countercharge, you do have to be on engage. So that's you do have to be careful because if you're on conceal, you're not legal to charge, so you can't actually make the charge, which sucks. But bad temper is a really fun rule. I have only gotten to use it maybe once or twice, and when I do it, it's like I set up the model. I'm like, all right, the dog is on engage. Like, why is it on engage?
Yeah.
If you charge,
what could possibly going on?
There's always like the push and pull for like the tricks where it's like, if I tell you the whole trick, you're never gonna run into it.
Yeah.
I think John runs into that with Wormblade, the 3rd place at Kansas City, who is also a Goonhammer author. So I think he runs into those issues where it's like he has to skirt the line on like how much he can reveal just because or like he can tell you everything up front, but then like in the game, sometimes you have to rig up situations where your opponent can make the mistake.
Yeah, you
have to silently let them make the mistake.
You've got to set the traps, but it's but like I was going to say, because it must be difficult for you, and because obviously you do write these, like you write for Goonhammer, you're quite active in the community online as well as obviously your local area, and you do podcasts, so you're known. So the idea is that you're quite known as like a top player. You've been to the invitationals. You're like top state in the US or something like that. It's like it's ridiculous. You're a really good player, and it must be hard being like. So playing against you, the idea is that you're a nice guy, your community, you will not let me like
I have what I mean? You have to like know your audience when you're playing. So like, if I'm in a tournament and people are like really, really nervous and they make mistakes, it's like I will catalog the mistakes, and at the end of the game, like, all right, these are the things that like if I was you, I would try to avoid these things, which I think for what it's worth, Kill Team is a much better community at taking that kind of feedback.
I think so too. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because I come from competitive Magic the Gathering because I mostly do limited drafting. That's like that's where I played the most where I've spent the most time playing board games, which is really useful for Kill Team. But in a lot of those games, after the end of the game, a lot of times people are just like, all right, just like pick up the I don't want to talk to you.
Don't speak to me. Don't exactly. Don't open your mouth. I'm going.
One of my favorite gifts of all time is that dude at the end of a Magic game, and he just like tables, like throws the table, and he's out. I'm like,
don't do it.
Yeah,
don't do it.
No.
Yeah, there's just people that like you see it in their eyes and they're just fuming, like because like in a competitive card game you're looking for like a handful of cards in your deck, but like if you don't get them, you don't get them, and it's like you got to be okay with that. Kind of like in Kill Team, you're like, the dice are out of my hands. I rolled 4 ones. Like, oh well,
there's an element of
It's like I did the best I could.
Is there a team out there that you think is a bit of a good, sneaky, competitive choice that gets overlooked? Because I still think, as we were talking, Wormblade are my sneaky one because I think people don't know them that well. They didn't have a huge moment in the sun, and they do have a lot of those great, not gotcha moments because it's their rules. It's not cheese. I'm going to play them.
You mean gotcha moments, don't you? You want to trick people.
Well, they're the Gene Stealer Colts, and I like taking people's lunch money. So, but is there any other teams you think
they're good
that are like that out there as well that people might be overlooking?
I mean, locally, a lot of our commandos have been doing really well locally. And I think, people have they were really, really broken on release. You could take 2 dynamite. You could have you're going to have your Daka boy chuck the dynamite for free, basically, because he could move and then throw a free dynamite. Yeah, with the Dakadash, because Dakadash used to be that you could use any gun. So it used to be 9 inches, throw the grenade, and you would have the boss knob also with the dynamite.
Yeah.
So before you would have 2 different like pieces in the mid board that your opponent just like can never approach with anything really. So they were really broken on release. They got nerfed. Then the grenade nerfs happened, and then now they've been kind of falling off because they don't have access to a lot of rerolls. But since the crit ops changes, now the extra CP helps a ton for commandos because now you have access to 2 sneaky gets and then extra CP for the rest of the game, which is really good on open. And then they now have an extra activation because now you can take the grot and the squig without it caught for 1 operative, basically. You replace a boy with those 2. So now you get 11 activations, which also helps a lot. They still have rough matchups because the assault intercessors just like mulch you because you just can't reliably fight 5 attack models in melee, which is rough. And then maybe Gellerpox is also still a little rough for them just because they have injury bubbles and just 5 up heal no pains. But they've been doing really well locally in New York, and those 11 operatives are great. I think that Hunter Clade, for what it's worth, probably are still good. Yeah. It's just that they got nerfed and then the new toys came out, so everyone was just like, I'll just play the new toys. Yeah, but they got nerfed to the point where it's like you get 4 really good melee models and you have 7 really good shooting models. And then you still get control edicts, so you can still do all the in the dark cheese, which is good. It's just you have a little bit less wiggle room. Before, if you were playing 6 assault intercessors, you could throw away a model and guarantee a kill. And now you can't really do that, so you got to play a little bit cagier. But all their rules are really good. They have a lot of flexibility, so I kind of expect that Hunter Clade is still good. I kind of want to play them. But I painted up these Phobos, when the rules came out last year, and now I'm playing them. It's super fun to have 4 APL on a model.
I've always liked them, although yes, they've been a bit underpowered, and there's definitely some hard matchups that's no good for them. I always thought they were a fun team. I like now that they're finally getting love. I don't like that I had to take them getting 4 APL and feeling a little bit. But
for what it's worth, in Spain, Carlos, part of Ace's team, he was crushing it with Phobos all of last year on open terrain. It's just until this buff on In the Dark, they were like basically unplayable because all of their strengths on open were just like, I just can't do anything.
100%. 100%. Well, look, this is the time of the show where for our guests, it's a stressful time, but we play a little well-known game. Russ is just twigged. What's happening?
I've just twigged. We're at that time. I didn't realize we were at that time already.
Having a great time, which is a good thing.
All right.
So have you been
Legions?
Obviously a big fan of the show, Travis? Do you practice your Legions of Russ at home? Are you on public transport yelling out the answers?
Unfortunately, I am not the best with old obscure lore. All of my lore knowledge was 1D4chan back in the day.
Hey, you had pretty good far sight knowledge. Maybe Russ has been generous and done something. Tau enclaves. Maybe no.
Sorry.
I'll do my best.
But yeah, that's all we can do. Well, apparently we're in the Legions of Rust period of time, which I wasn't prepared for, but I have since got prepared, so we're ready to go. Before we have to go, I have to say I love the Brooklyn Strategist, the Brooklyn Rats logo. I saw it come up there. I love the Brooklyn. I don't know what it is. It's kind of like Evil Mickey. I love it.
Evil Mickey.
Evil Mickey is what I see. Okay, so I guess Rhys, we've got to play it up inside itself, then, haven't we?
Well, fine.
Good luck to us. We'll only say this once. It's finally time for Legions of Russ.
Wonderful song. Look at that.
Oh,
makes me miss Ben though. That's probably the sad part. Yeah. No, okay, not much. Over there living his best life at the Kansas City Open.
All right.
Oh yeah, he just been the Kansas City Open. I think he got top 20, 15 placed. I think he was 15. I think AO Adrian, I don't know if he's in the chat. He was before, maybe he got 16th. So they were both top 20 finishes, which is,
hey, top half is good.
Repping the team casual flag over there.
I love it. I wonder if he was.
Not everyone has the high standards of I need to win every game.
Well, Ben wanted to. I mean, no one else saw him in the chats to us, the tears after each game. But Russ has got some tips.
It's 19th. Sorry, AO Adrian got 19th.
Oh,
First tournament ever.
Wow, first tournament.
Wow,
That's
is
really good.
That's great. Nice going, man.
Well
Attending
played,
any tournament is a big first step, you know. I think.
Oh yeah.
If you look at like other games, it's like most people never make it out of their local play group. So, you know, the first time you go outside, if you're doing well, that's a good sign. I think actually the winner of Kansas City, I know him from Chicago Open last year. I played him in the first round. It was just like him and his friends had played locally, and they finally went out to the Chicago Open. They did pretty well. Like, I think he came in top 10. And then, you know, he's been grinding it out ever since. They got real close at KTO. I, you know, shot down his Casterkin brother in pod 2 at KTO, dropped him down. But he took first at Kansas City. It just took a while. Yeah. He was a good player though. Like, you know, getting out into your play group into the real world and making new friends. It's definitely why, you know, just another Kill Team podcast is what we're doing and why I'm here.
Yeah, man. I fully endorse anyone giving a tournament a try. If you're in the UK, I'm going to a tournament on June the 17th, the King's birthday, if you care. So come out and play Kill Team on his birthday.
Do you care? Do you care, Russ?
I don't. But if you do,
he's obviously there for the ribbon cutting at the start. The king himself will be there too.
I assume he'll come along as well. I'm pretty confident he'll be there with his custodies. Anyway,
that'd be Henry Cavill, right?
That'd be Cavill. He's big in the scene as well. So yeah, so June 17th, Stockport. We're going to a tournament, and I've encouraged people to come along and destroy me in the game because I'm not great, but I might be running the filthiest team ever. I might be going for the Chaos Cultist if I can get them painted up in time. So
it's a lot of models.
You are everything that's wrong with this.
It's terrible.
Everything that's wrong with this.
Okay, so we played the intro about 14 minutes ago. Let's get into the introduction. Welcome, gentlemen, to Legions of Russ. It's that time again where we test the bonds of madness we share as a community. In this game show of sorts, I read out a clue, riddle, cryptic mind puzzle dredged forth frothing and naked from the septic tank that is my brain for you, our contestants, to guess upon. It could be a guard regiment, a legion of space marines, but regardless, it's likely to be obscure, but who knows? It could be your favorite. In this game, contestants, and if you can hear me, that means you, shout out your name as buzzers to hurl guesses at me, your friendly host. And now, the victory conditions. I'm actually going to check the stream to make sure. Oh, he's put them up. What a pro.
I got you.
What a pro. Look at this. They're in the wrong order, but they're still there. So, first,
you made the graphic. I made the graphic.
Did I?
No, I made it.
We have the partial guess. If you can partially guess the correct answer, you gain a victory point. If you can do this before clues are given, then you will receive 2 victory points for your partial guess. And then we have the completion guess. If you make the completion guess, then you score 1 victory point. And as a bonus, if you're able to score the partial and the completion guess at the same time without a clue, i.e. sniping it from the start, you get an additional victory point for the completion tack-up. So that's a max of 4 victory points for the snipe. It's only happened a few times, but it has happened. And if that made any sense to you, then your names are probably not Rhys or Travis. So let's go over to the guys and see how they're feeling about today's game. Rhys, how do you feel?
Look, usually I love having guests on because I want skulls for the skull throne. But I've been terrible lately. The chat pumped me like you wouldn't believe the other week. Bam Bam's doing very well on the leaderboard for season 3. So no, I need a win. I really got to lift.
Don't worry. I don't expect that I'm going to provide much resistance for you, Rhys.
I reckon you're playing it down.
I might have to call the Kill Team Open, Legions of Russ winner on my phone to get a second opinion.
We've got to phone a friend here.
Phone a friend is an option.
Phone a former Legions of Russ winner. So
we can turn this into a Rhys versus the people if we have to.
So, Rhys, please turn off the chat so you cannot be helped by our community, who will be obviously guessing it before you.
Fair.
I will be keeping the chat open to see. Don't Sorry, just reading some of the comments. That's right, Primaris Painter. King Charles plays Kill Team. He's a real gatekeeper, apparently. So, here we go. I've got 2 Legions of Russ for you. I have a Crater and an Imperium.
Ooh.
Which one do you like first? Travis, I'll let guest's choice. Traitor.
Let's go with the Imperials.
Go with the Imperials. So, whether or not this is a clue, it's one word.
Okay,
it's one word. I'm not gonna tell you if it's a Space Marine Legion or if it's a Guard Regiment, but I'm just saying it's one word. One word.
Okay.
Everyone at home, if you're ready, get your shouting voices ready. If you're on a bus, get ready. People in the chat, get those, yeah, exactly, Rudy, get those fingers warmed up. Get those fingerless gloves on. Hold them over a cold brazier. Yeah, just
only exclusively playing fingerless gloves.
Like that. Oh, no, we've got a guess already. The Eggles, but it's not.
I was really going to guess that.
Papa Kraken's ready. Looks like the chat is ready. Okay, gentlemen, let's go into it. So we're going Imperium, and it's one word. A sly grift that leaves 2 more than 8 hoofed mammals missing a vowel, although they do have a spare. So there was a little sly clue in there as well. I know it's all a clue, so that doesn't really help. Oh, wow.
Rhys.
Rudy's got it already.
Oh,
He's got it already. Ooh. He got it before you, Rhys, but go ahead, Rhys.
Contenders?
It is the Contenders. It was, I thought it might be a quick one. I thought it might be a quick. So obviously a sly grift, a con that leaves 2 more than 8, 10. Hoofed mammals missing a vowel. It's deer, but obviously they're missing a vowel, but they do have a spare.
That was what got me over the end. The dough. That was...
Yes, indeed. So the Contenders, they are a Codex Astartes loyalist Space Marine chapter of unknown founding and origin. Almost nothing is known. Exactly, it's a shock. Almost nothing is known about this chapter in the Imperial records, except they were created sometime after the second founding. They do have a color scheme, though.
Oh.
It's pretty rubbish. It's just grey.
Oh.
They're basically just grey.
They have red markings.
Yeah. They have red markings, grey red markings, and it's the Imperial Fist kind of fist. So I'm guessing they were probably Imperial Fist, but kind of rubbish, not great. But yeah, that is the Contenders. I had a separate clue, which is they could have been.
Oh,
I thought I might just throw that out there. I thought that'd be like if we got like that. So. And then that would have been it, and then followed by 5 minutes of everyone trying to do the impression. Anyway, let's play it in itself before we go into the second one.
Good luck to us. We'll only
Great job,
say
Chad.
this once. It's finally time for
Chad nailed it.
Legions of Russ.
we're back. Round 2, baby.
Yeah, Rudy, that was. I mean, whew. As they're saying, some hot fingers in the chat. Man, I mean, there was people behind you. Papa Kraken was very close, and then immediately, yeah. Whew.
I'm starting to think they
Close.
weren't fingerless gloves before, but he typed that fast that
Fast,
just
it burned off
immolated the fingers
as they were
burnt
friction against the air as he was like flash. Okay,
it lit up.
Lit up.
I got a lift. I thought I did
one.
really well. Technically, I sniped it.
You did? Oh, you got a 4 victory points there. Yeah, I didn't even.
But the chat, because I mean, and to be fair though, it is easier and far quicker to type than it is to say your own name. That's all I'm saying. I mean,
that's what he's going for.
That's
what he's going for.
They've got it easy. That's all I'm saying.
They don't know they're born over there in the chat. Fast Fingers Rudy is now also going to be. Apparently, he did type and shout his name out at the same time, so you might have you beat. You started his computer going, Rudy! As he's typing out. So you've got a snipe there, Rhys. Is that, dare I say, the first one?
No, had one a couple of weeks ago. Thank you very much.
Okay, I apologize. Okay, so we'll go into the second and last. I think this is also going to be quite a quick one. I think this is going to be I think it's going to be fastest finger first on this one as well. So Rudy, put your fingers on ice a little bit. You got a couple of seconds, but we're going straight into a second one, which might be the quickest Legions of Russ, I think. But then I will say that, and it ends up being 40 minutes later, several weeks later. But let's get into it. Okay, so this is chaos. That's the only thing I'm going to give you. It could be a legion, could be a cult. It's 2 words. Chat, I hope you're ready. And we'll go into the second Legion of Rust for this Gestinental belt. I made a weird sound when I moved my hands apart. Eddie Brock's alter ego gets shredded by these after falling into a rose bush.
Rhys.
Wow, Rhys, are you doing this? Are you being this guy today?
I can't be competitive at Kill Team because I'm not actually good at it.
The chat's got it. The chat's got it already, but you did say your name first.
Okay,
you got your name in first, but then we paused.
Is it the Venom Thorns?
It is the Venom Thorns. It is very well done. Very well done. You hate to see it. You hate to see it happen, don't you? I hate it when Rhys succeeds. God, it drives me crazy. The Venom Thorns, indeed. So yeah, it is. So it doesn't
happen very often, to be fair.
Surprisingly, that one was surprisingly straightforward.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I thought I'd make them relatively straight. We missed a week, so I feel like I was out of practice. But they're a renegade Space Marine chapter of unknown founding, but apparently they are a successor chapter of the Imperial Fists. I don't know why that's odd. I guess technically all chaos come from a loyalist at some point.
Yeah, but I don't think you hear too many Imperial Fist ones. They're the yellow boys are usually pretty well behaved.
Yeah, you normally hear about their loyalist subfections for the Imperial Fist. I was going to say.
But yeah, they don't have a color scheme. There probably something somewhere has done them, but there's no color scheme. But apparently they did try. They not mad crazy. They sent to Rogel Dawn sent an Imperial Fist guy to go and speak with these people to try and reason with the chapter that had broken away from them. But then obviously diplomacy failed, and then apparently they just killed. They killed them all. So I don't think they exist anymore. I think they rebelled briefly. They sent in an emissary to be like, yeah, you sure you want to go, crazy? And they were like, you're pretty sure. Yeah. And then they just killed everyone. So it's like, pretty sure.
Dead. We know what we're doing.
This story is pretty metal. Did you? Yeah. At the end, they're talking about how like the Imperial Fist guy had 100 bolts and he left the planet with a single bolt left.
You read through,
yeah, all the way down at the bottom. He goes to the planet with 100 bolts and executes everyone, but leaves with one single bolt.
It's amazing. It's very metal.
There's definitely something in the next narrative right there. We've pretty much written the narrative in that chapter story for the New York Open. So spoilers, if anyone is out there.
I'm going to have a special ammunition that you can find, just like the bolt gun of bolt gun fame.
Yeah, no shooting for the rest of the game.
Round. It's got one single round in, but that round is like a beam weapon from a Votan. It's just like, boom, kill everyone. That was it.
Wow.
That was Legions of Russ. So, Rhys, play us on out.
I'll do it.
Good luck to us, we'll only say this once. It's finally time for Legions of Russ.
It was Legions of Russ. Rudy was killing it as well in the chat there. Rudy got in there with a double snipe. We'll give Rhys technically got a double snipe, but
the chat got that.
It's not as impressive as Rudy's. Let's be fair.
In future, I'll type the answer as I say it as well. I'll just to keep it fair.
That would be good. That would be a good way of keeping it fair. I get you get excited.
I do.
But yeah,
that's. Look, the chat was good. I love /hate. I'm going to have to bring up my graphic resources of people here because I'm upset.
Really?
The chat is so supportive and so positive. It's a terrible community in there, and I'm not about it. I can't wait to verse them again and really take them to task over their teamwork, okay? It makes me sick. I'm just trying to do my best heel work here. You make me sick, people. You make me sick.
Yeah.
I just want to do one while we're talking all good things and positive. I want to actually, speaking of teams, I just wanted to touch on one thing. There's a great, speaking of good tournaments and community stuff going on, there's the Good Times Rolled is an Aussie community that's been building for a little bit as well. So I just wanted to give them a quick shout out. And they've got some great competitions. If you didn't get a chance to get the Ashes of Faith box set, this could be a good way to get yourself one.
Oh.
They're running a competition, the Good Teams Hass over at the Good Times Rolled group. All you got to do, they've got a Discord, so Good Times Rolled, jump on that. They've got a Facebook page, just got to like and follow, as well as their YouTube as well. And basically, they've got some targets they're trying to hit. I think they're trying to hit 300 subscribes and likes on both of those channels. So if you get the chance and you're based in Australia, it's a great way to join the community, find out about tournaments. They do a whole bunch of really, really cool stuff. Wow. I'm always lurking in their server too. That's all I do in all servers. I'm terrible at actually remembering to chat, but I lurk like you wouldn't believe. So make sure you get involved if you're an Aussie. If you're not, well, we're still taking applications. We're still taking applications. How dare you?
How dare you use this to promote an Australian only? You know what I mean? This is the nerve. The nerve as you bringing in the
shameless shilling.
Colory dude. Exactly. The shameless shilling. Yeah. How dare? How dare? Anyway, June 17th.
No, we'll have none of this.
This actually on my end.
But before we do go, Travis, again, remind us the dates of stuff that's coming up. You got New York Open coming up. Remind us again when that's going to be.
Actually, in 2 weekends, we have my group is running the Atlantic City Open for the Kill Team community. So that is, I think, the 17th, 18th of June, and then up in Syracuse. I'm not running it, but another local TO is running the Salt City GT. I think July 7th through 9th. That's actually going to be a golden ticket from what I understand, although they're pretty low on, it's like relatively low attendees right now. So if anyone is interested and they want to play in Syracuse, people from Toronto come down. I'm sure that they would love to have more people. It's going to be their first time running a Kill Team event there. So that's in July. And then Nova is coming up at the end of August. And then at, 2 weeks before the Atlanta Championship, come punch your chance to get a ticket at the New York Open 2, November 4th and 5th. We'll be at the heart of Manhattan. It might be a little pricey, but make a trip of it because everybody, New York is great. We've got great food. We've got a good subway system. And we've got some of the best Kill Team players on the East Coast.
There you go. Sounds like a Kill Team event.
You've got time to save. I know you're saying it's a bit pricey. It's in November.
I was going to say that's good.
If you start now, just $1 a day, you will live like a king in New York.
New York is great. As someone who was originally from California, now that I'm in New York, it's great. It's got a lot to do. We've got good food, good people, and the games are fun. We've got a lot of different communities all playing different games, and we'd love to have you.
Fantastic. And lastly, give us a shout for the pod as well, wherever it's obviously when everyone finishes this episode, they're going to head straight there. Tell us a little bit about the pod as well.
Yeah, I'm also one of the co-hosts for Just Another Kill Team podcast, where we talk about Kill Team community stuff rather than with a little dash of competitive Kill Team. We try not to be too sweaty, a little bit casual, and we try to talk to all the different Kill Team communities. We interview. I think next week we're going to have an interview from a pair of guys up in Northern California, orbiting the Bay Area Open. We've talked to Dakota, who does this Southern California scene, and LVO. We talked to Dave, who helped do KTO. So we like talking to the tournaments because, that's where the community is. And it's fun to hear about all the small stories, the trials and tribulations of our small scenes, when we hit 0 people, or, you're just sitting out there hoping to find one other person. So we've all been there, and that's what we try to do. We try to bring someone's local kill team scene to your ears.
Very cool, very cool. Well, as always, a big thank you to the chat. Has been amazing today, and they literally just burned Ben on the way out here as well. Yeah. A first-time chatter, Laser Skeleton, has just said, first time in the chat, Ben seems a lot cooler this week. You're going to fit in just fine.
Yeah. Nice. Travis, a.k.a. Cool Ben.
Cool Ben.
That's the new nickname. The nickname you never knew you needed, Cool Ben. There it is.
Oh, no, thank you so much.
I got to take that one.
Thank you so much for joining us today, Travis. It's been awesome having you on. I'm sure we'll have to do it again in the future.
100%.
And to all our subscribers, Patreons, all our supporters out there, thank you, as always, for joining us on the show, whether it's pod, YouTube, or live on Twitch. We always appreciate all the support. So that's the show. We'll see you next time.
See you later.
Thanks, everyone.
As always, a big figure 4 footlock of love from us to our patrons who keep the singlets warm and the talc on standby. A big thanks to Kill Team Ken, Roscoe88, Justin Kung, Vulture B, Average Joe 27, Kill Team Cascadia, Craig F. Lincoln, George, Alan Chapman, Hillocks, Swanky McMofo, Stooge Co, Admiral Rudy, Michael Richards, Gordon Ballantyne, Dave B, Io Adrian, Storm Owl, Jack Whittingham, Trilly Chatterjee, Vincent Cerruti, Beans, and Mark Schuller.